I don't recognize this place anymore. And I'm not just saying that because a lot of people just do. It's a big refrain. I don't recognize this country. I don't recognize it. I don't get it. And I've never felt this way. I always thought, well, this is pretty much it. We had kind of like the left, right, this antipathy, this combatant stuff. We always had the prototypical democratic stuff. We had the prototypical democratic leadership. We had the prototypical democratic folks doing their democratic things. Maybe it was about taxes. Maybe it was about spending. Maybe it was about whatever it was. But there was always this, the usual stuff. Republicans were there, and the Rush Limbaugh years. It was very simple. The Rush Limbaugh years. The liberals. Now I see something completely different. I see left, and I see right, and I see something even more interesting. I see left and right, and I see something even more bizarre. Left and right, and I guess, let me see if I can say this. This group of people who are deciding to focus this country under the guise of democratic theory and the like, for reasons that, let me change this light a little bit, for reasons that I shan't understand. Transgender, you know it and I know it. We all speak for, I think, each other when we say we don't care about transgender anything. It makes no difference to us, one way or another. Transgender, who cares? Who cares? Whatever you want to do is okay with me. It doesn't even remotely matter. Anything that you say, anything that you do, anything, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Sure, there are people who are transgender. Sure, there are. You know what? It really, and it's not a big libertarian thing. I love when the libertarians come out, well, I'm a libertarian. Come on, it's common sense. If you think you're a duck, I don't care. It doesn't matter. The only problem we had was when sports was contaminated with the fact that men had testosterone, and that usually that kind of sort of maybe helped out in the long run. It kind of sort of maybe unevened the playing field. Call me old-fashioned, but having testicles and pumping out testosterone, for the most part, is something that's interesting. Never forget this story. I have a friend of mine whose daughter is an athlete. She's a volleyball star. This woman, she's strong. She's in the gym. She's stamina, she's an incredible athlete. Her brother, reed thin, never works out, doesn't even move. Looks like he couldn't run down the block if he had to. Well, one day they were kind of roughhousing, just playing around. And she could not believe this guy's strength, because they were just kidding. And he got her into an arm bar or a leg scissors or whatever the hell it was. And she was amazed. And she says, I can't believe just his innate power. And here is this, she is a classically trained athlete of an incredible power. Incredible. And she couldn't believe this. Couldn't believe what she was. All right. I don't have to go through and explain the rigors and the realities of testosterone. That's where we kind of said, no, wait a minute. It would be like me trying to compete in the octogenarian or septuagenarian Olympics. What I'm saying, I'm younger. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Rachel Dolezal told people she was African American. Well, they took care of that. Immediately, African American, my arse. Well, that's what happened. And that's what she did. And that's the thing which is the most critical and the most brutal in terms of reality. Okay, that was over here. Then the second part of this came from children. Can children be transgender? I guess. Can children be confused as to gender? I'm sure they can. I've known kids who were confused as to their favorite color. But sure they could. And I'll bet you people who are transgender maybe in their later years, because I believe there are some people who are born in the proverbial wrong body, but there are kids who, by the way, could very well have said, yes, I remember feeling like this as a child. So it's possible. Now, the only thing that I think most rational people would say was, we don't think it's a good idea for you to impart actual puberty-blocking drugs and or sexual mutilation / surgery such as hysterectomies, penectomies, orchiectomies, hysterectomies, mastectomies, any ectomy you can imagine. We don't think it's a good idea because a kid can, kind of sort of change his mind. And not only that, be nice to get the parent at least involved or to maybe consider this. Well, all of a sudden, overnight, pediatric associations, hospitals were just saying, let's do it. And we said, wait a minute. What is this? Meanwhile, Democrats were, do they not care about this? I don't know, as long as it's not Trump, I guess. I don't know. I don't recognize any of this anymore. I don't understand this. Dylan Mulvaney. Do I care about Bud Light? Not really. Could it be kind of a kitschy, kind of, look, if it sells beer, whatever. But that's not what happened here. This was a version of ESG and DEI on the corporate level, brought to you by the HRC, the Human Rights Committee, or whatever, strong-arming corporate America into this to up their CPI, whatever, these initials and abbreviations. I can't keep track of them. But basically increasing their social credit score. And if they didn't, big companies like BlackRock and Vanguard and others would pull out. So they were holding them hostage. I can't believe what's happening. What happened to my country? How did we go from saying, well, of course, people, to this overnight? And it's almost as though there's nothing, there's no end in sight. It's sucking all the oxygen out of the room. It is an issue that is, for the most part, important, but not as important as people think in the long run. As the great Russell Smith saying, I want my country back. I want it back. I want back what I remembered. I don't want to go back to 1950s Mayberry. I just want prior to 5 years ago, when we were crazy, but not insane. All right, dear friends. I ask you right now to do me a favor to like this video, subscribe to the channel, be notified of new videos and the like, and whatever you do, I beg, beseech, entreat, importune, and ask that you always comment as you see fit.